there's a big difference in $10,000 and $80,000.
Yes.
Like
A mindset of having a loan on vehicles.
yeah, I think it would be a good truck for a long time, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. This just sat there, and she finally got tired of it sitting there.
Yeah.
And she posted it on Craigslist for $500, and I went and got it.
That's the dilemma that people are facing. Let's look at this, man. What can you tell me about this? I have always loved these machines. They're so cool. Well, what do we have here? Look at this beauty. I think that this is absolutely awesome. Today on the Okie Woodsman channel, we're at Dustin's house at Faithful Farm Adventures. This guy has a lot going on. He does so many interesting things, and he, well, you kind of really are a real Okie.
Yeah.
You're a real Okie. See, I'm not really an Okie because I'm not from here, but I'm kind of trying to have some of this spirit rub off on me. This right behind me is super interesting because I'm in the market at some point for a pickup truck.
Yeah.
I need a pickup truck, but I'm also trying to figure out how it can also serve as a family vehicle as well, sometimes if needed.
Yeah,
because, you know, I get helpers that come with me.
That's it.
And I've got the Tacoma now, but it's just not good enough.
Yeah.
I come over here and this thing is sitting here, and Dustin has some really interesting tidbits. He was talking about, because this is a dump truck.
Yes.
And so talk to me about what your opinion is about a dump truck versus a dump trailer.
I used to have 10-wheeler dump trucks. I had a dump truck service. I've had a few 1-ton dump trucks. I've pulled dump trailers, and there's a lot of overlap in the two. They do a lot of things the same. But one thing a dump truck can do better, and that is haul and dump. If you need to haul gravel or firewood or whatever, in my opinion, a dump truck is the way to go. Mm-hmm. There's nothing on the planet that can get you stuck faster than a dump trailer, because you're just pulling dead weight behind you. There's nothing that on that trailer that can help you move forward. Especially delivering firewood, you never know where you're going to end up. It's usually in someone's backyard or who knows. I like a dump truck, and this has got a 12-foot bed on it. So,
man,
a lot of people who pull a trailer that's not even 12 foot long.
Yeah.
So I've stacked a cord of firewood on here, and it'd only be maybe this. It's not as high as the cab.
Yeah. And you could put taller stakes on it if you wanted to.
Yeah. I've hauled gravel. You can't haul that much on a 1-ton.
Yeah.
But to me, I use this thing all the time just for hauling trash or anything.
Yeah.
And you don't have to hook up to a trailer. I like old stuff anyway, so it works out good for me. When you look at what a new dump trailer costs, but like for Joe or somebody, if you've already got a nice pickup and you've got a tractor, but you don't have a way to haul that tractor, a dump trailer would work good. Because you could load the tractor in your dump trailer. You could go to a job. Let's say you got a tree job, and you could load the limbs and stuff in the dump trailer, go dump them. Yeah. And you can do it all in one shot. So there's advantages to both. If you got a dump truck, then that is a vehicle that is pretty well dedicated to that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're buying a dedicated vehicle, which you could get a newer one that's extended cab or something, but still, you're not going to want to drive that around, really.
No.
So there's pluses and minuses, definitely.
I've been trying to figure out the best balance, right? Because I want my money to stretch as far as possible.
Absolutely.
And new trucks are just outrageous.
Absolutely.
And not only are they outrageous, but there's just constant reports about how they're failing.
Yeah.
And so, like, to me, it's just ridiculous to think about spending, which I wouldn't do anyway, because I don't have the ability to spend $60,000 or $70,000 on a truck, but to spend that and then be out of warranty and then need an engine or a transmission or both.
Yeah.
Like, that's just mind-blowing to me.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I've kind of gone down the route of like the 5.7 Tundras because there's a good track record on them. They're not fail-safe, but at the same time, I think that they're a good value and a good capability, but I really want 3/4 ton.
Yep.
And so I'm like really thinking about like the early 2000s Silverado and GMC 2500s with a 6 liter.
I actually had a 2011 6-liter 3/4 ton, and I put just under 300,000 miles on it.
Really?
And I abused it dearly.
300,000?
Yeah, I had I hauled my excavator, skid steer with it. I don't know. I used to go to Nebraska to get pumpkins, and when we wouldn't have enough, pull a 32-foot trailer loaded with pumpkins with it.
Wow.
99 out of the 100 people who drive a diesel truck don't need a diesel truck. They just like having a diesel truck.
Well, and that's the thing is like I've been around enough of the diesel stuff when I worked at that excavation company for 2 years that I know that all the newer trucks with all the emissions control stuff is unreal.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
And then the work is also heavier duty. So when you look at a 6.7 liter Ford diesel, they're massive engines because everything's so heavy.
That's it.
So I feel like for me, if I want to try to take on a project in the shop on my own, like I feel like it's another level of knowledge and tools.
100% right on both aspects of that. A 6-liter Chevy, you can literally get up there, sit on the fender, and work on it. That 6.7, you can pour a cup of water down the top of it, and half of it's not going to make it down. It's so tight.
That's funny.
I mean, it's
the
6-liter from the 2000s. They're great. They're really there's not much that goes wrong with them.
Yeah. Well, we had at that excavation company, we had a whole bunch of Dodges. We had some Chevy gas stuff, and 3/4 ton, and then we had some Fords. And we did have one 2500 Silverado with like almost 300,000 miles. It was pretty tired. I don't think it had been taken care of that well. But it's still like I could put a 12,000 pound skid steer on the back of it and move it. And so Dustin has a unique experience because, you know, we're looking at his property right now. You're not seeing anything brand new and shiny right now, but he has had experience with brand new and shiny. You've like right now he's got this this Ford tractor that is operational, but he alluded to earlier he had a skid steer and a mini excavator, and those were new or used?
No.
Those were new. So like for me, I can tell you right now, like I thought about buying a used tractor, but there's a couple things that like I want to learn how to use. I want to learn how to work on it. But I don't necessarily want to buy one and have to start working on it on day one. And so, but when it comes down to a vehicle like a truck, I'm kind of forced to like, because I'm not going to finance out a $70,000 piece of junk. It'd be one thing if they were good.
They're just not.
They're just not good.
They're comfortable. They've got every amenity known to man, but if you don't need that, if you just need a work truck, and which sounds more like what you just want, something to be able to move your tractor around, go do jobs with your sons,
make a little bit of side money.
You know, you don't need massage seats and I mean the list goes on and the stuff they put on new trucks. And
I'm good with crank windows and air conditioning. That's really, I mean, I would like to have air conditioning. The bigger thing that I'm after is that it's just going to do the job that I need it to do and not break me. Because when you're starting out a business, because that's really what I'm thinking about doing, is I'm thinking about venturing further down the path that I've been going on. If I spend too much money initially on my investment, that can break me. But then if I also buy poor quality equipment, it can break me because of downtime and costs. And so it's like a weird predicament. And so I really do have this tendency to lean towards the Tundras because of two things: the engines and the transmissions. The transmissions are really good. Now, on those Chevrolet 6 liters, I was looking at one. It had like 120,000 miles on it. Beautiful, beautiful condition. Freshly rebuilt transmission. So I kind of just think that's par for the course on those.
Well, when I got rid of mine, the transmission was going out. So
was it?
The engine was still fine, but the transmission was going out.
So, like, on a transmission, this is the thing, like, you know, and those trucks now are actually pretty valuable. To buy a reasonably not, like, rusted out one, you're talking about 10 to 15,000 bucks.
Oh, I'm sure.
Easy. So, you know, if I buy one and then have a transmission failure, if it were you, what would you do on, like, on a truck like that? And first of all, do you think that it could possibly be a good type vehicle for me?
And what I would suggest to anybody is, because when you think about it, you think, am I really going to buy a 20-year-old vehicle and pay $10,000 to $15,000 for it?
I would have said no in the past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, I can buy a 20-year-old vehicle that won't have too many problems for $10,000 to $15,000, or I can buy a brand new truck. Like, if you can get one for $60,000, it's
a miracle.
A miracle. It's more like 80, especially for a 3/4 ton.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference in $10,000 and $80,000.
Yes.
Like,
you can buy a new another $10,000 truck yearly for 8 years.
Yes, for 8 years, and have 8 trucks, because all the 8 of
parts.
those are still going to be running.
Yeah. You might have a few down with transmission.
So let's say you go buy a $15,000, $10,000 truck, and 6 months later the transmission goes out. Well, $2,500, you get your transmission rebuilt. Well, how much is the payment on an $80,000 truck? That's probably 2 months' payments.
Yeah.
So is it really that big a deal?
That's the thing is this is the other thing is having your finances in order, because I'm not ashamed to say, but I've never been in a good position where I have enough money set aside to take on a $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 repair just out of the blue.
Yeah.
You know,
and in today's world, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, everything costs so much. It's hard for anybody.
And that's how I ended up with Toyota, really, because my wife and I had some new Toyotas earlier, and they were good, but they better have been good because they were brand new.
Yeah.
Anybody that touts the quality of their vehicle with 100,000 miles or less on it, and like, oh, I've had no trouble, you ought not have trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not an achievement to have 100,000 miles of trouble-free driving.
That should be the minimum.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, you should be basically just doing maintenance on that part. So for me, what happened, what changed the game was when my wife and we decided to do some things financially different. We bought 2 Toyota vehicles. We were coming out of a mindset of having a loan on vehicles and wanting to pay cash.
Yeah.
And so I bought a really cruddy, no, it wasn't actually cruddy. It looked cruddy. It was a 4Runner from the cruddiest dealership in Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was pointing like you probably ought not do business here. I mean, the air reeked of it just didn't smell right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we bought this 4Runner, and now it did have some really good maintenance records in the glove box. So that is a big thing.
Yeah, that's good.
But the 4Runner had 250, I think it might have even had 270-ish thousand miles. We put 40,000 miles on it and spent nothing other than oil changes.
Yeah.
And the 4Runner, we truly felt confident to drive it across country. Now, it could have broke.
Yeah.
Of course it could have broke.
Yeah.
And then I had a Tundra that was purchased from original owner out of Joplin, Missouri, out of Fletcher. And it was a 4.6, is it a 4? Do you know if it's the one with the overhead cam, the belts that you got to... Anyway, it's the early 2000s 4Runner the first generation Tundra, and that truck, everything operated perfectly well. The 4-wheel drive, everything. The only thing that was wrong with it was the door was so saggy from just a lot of miles, and it was close to touching 300,000 as well. But those vehicles were, I kind of wish I still had them, because they didn't cost us anything. We operated them and did some maintenance on them. Never had a failure. They never shifted weird. I towed heavy loads with that Tundra with a lot of miles on it. Yeah. And so, but the problem is Toyota doesn't make a 3/4 ton truck.
No.
That's a predicament, because I would like to tow a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't need to tow, I don't need a 1 ton necessarily.
No.
But I want to be able to tow more. And so I'm like seeking out advice. I'm kind of, I'm thinking about building a shop. And so I'm thinking, well, if I have a shop space to work on a vehicle now, then maybe I just need to bite the bullet and start doing more major mechanical repairs. So you're saying like $2,500, and I understand we're just kind of talking in the air.
Yeah.
Are you saying $2,500 if you pull the transmission and take it somewhere?
I'd say you could probably take it somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in that ballpark of 2,500.
And do you think that it's possibility that $2,500 rebuild might get you down the road another like 80,000 miles, 100,000 miles, maybe?
I would expect to get whatever you got out of it the first time.
Another 100,000, maybe
200,000.
I mean
the one I had almost 300,000.
It was original.
It was original.
Did you buy that truck new?
I bought it with 110,000 miles on it.
Okay.
It was an OG&E natural gas.
Okay.
It had natural gas on it.
Okay.
And I'm not going to lie. I did as little maintenance as possible on it. I never changed the transmission fluid, never changed the transmission filter, and I abused it daily. It had a trailer hooked up to it at least 5 days a week.
That's awesome.
And I just drove it hard.
I wonder.
I would honestly, if knowing what you're looking for, that would be my recommendation, a 6-liter 3/4 ton Chevrolet. Just because, one, how cheap they are to work on, and two, how good they are. They're just good trucks.
Okay.
You're not going to set any speed records. You're not going to pull your tractor faster than a new Power Stroke or Cummins, but do you need to?
No.
That's my deal.
Not for that kind of money.
Just like this dump truck. Could I have something newer that was faster? Yeah, but I'm not in that big a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really hard decision nowadays. Like if you don't have the mechanical aptitude, I've pulled engines out of vehicles and done all that. My time is pretty limited. That's the other factor is it's like, I just need the vehicle to work, but I'm not going to get rid of the S10. I'm going to hang on to that.
Yeah.
I really feel like there's an advantage to having multiple vehicles
100%.
around. So that way you can actually work on them because
that's it.
I hate working on a vehicle because you have to drive it to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
And so, of course, that's optimal. A lot of people do that kind of stuff, but I'm also not a really super savvy mechanic, and I can get myself into trouble in a hurry if I had to get it back up for tomorrow. But let's, while we're talking about this, I mentioned Dustin's like, he does a lot of auction stuff, so he's always finding like, you never know what you're going to see on his channel. And some of his auction videos are the best content because he goes to this place. Tell me how many chainsaws were at that one auction?
I think they said there was like 895 or something like that. It was like 900 chainsaws. It was insanity.
And how many did you buy?
28, I think. Yeah, and I wish I'd have bought like 300 more.
Because he's been selling them. He got everything from Home Lights, McCulloughs, and old Husqvarnas, and some old Steels. He's been selling them. And you've done pretty well, it sounds
I've done really well on them.
So let's up. I'm seeing something that's crazy behind me. We got to go look at this. All right. Dustin, what do you guys do around here? And tell me about what you're up to.
So in the fall, we have a pumpkin patch. So that's what most of the property is used for. We don't do much else with it. We have a pumpkin patch. This time of year, we sell produce. We have a produce stand. And so this time of year, I get to junk up around here before I have to clean it up for the pumpkin patch. So right here, we got the hauling rig. And this was an auction buy truck. And
this is not just sitting here. This is hooked up.
Oh, it's hooked up.
Come here. Look at this. Oh, dude, we're growing a garden back here.
Oh yeah.
But this is a fifth wheel on here. Obviously, we're not legal, but you're towing it around the property, right? Yeah. So just a farm vehicle, farm setup.
Gooseneck. The guy at the auction, they said this is what he hauled his cattle to.
To auction with?
Yeah, to auction with.
He hauled cattle with this truck?
That's what they said. Believe it or not, it actually handles it pretty decent. I mean, it's not even squatted.
Yeah.
I mean, the trailer's on. It's not on the jack or nothing. I need to raise the tongue up so it's level, but
that's crazy.
You never know what I'll get into at an auction.
Yeah.
I paid $100 for this. I put a like $40 fuel pump on it, and
it operates.
Oh yeah.
It'll drive.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's a Ford Escort.
Oh, no way.
Ford Escort Pony. It's a 88 model. Yeah, 88. 89.
Is there another brand that this shares with?
Back then, well, Dodge made one or Chrysler made one that looked a lot like it.
Okay. So, but like I know that Dodge
Ford,
and Mitsubishi did
yeah,
stuff,
back
and
then,
Chevy
who
and
would have
Toyota.
I don't know who would have shared with Ford back then.
Okay. So this thing, man, it's a stick.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Is it a 4-speed?
Yeah.
It's a 4-speed.
4-speed.
Wow. Oops.
Yeah,
That don't work quite right. That's
it's a working process.
And your F-150 is also an auction vehicle, right?
Auction vehicle, yep. Paid $1,500 for it.
$1,500.
Yep.
It has a little bit of a tick, or it does have like an exhaust leak.
Yeah.
Okay. But is it otherwise relatively sound?
Relatively sound.
Yeah.
I've put like 7,000 or 8,000 miles on it since I've had it.
Well, I know where
And it's
I'm
like,
buying trucks.
and that it goes to like we were talking. The truck was $1,500. That's somebody's truck payment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's crazy.
if you can be okay with not driving new stuff,
Yeah.
there's a lot of money to be saved.
Well, and this is the other thing.
And this has cruise control, AC, 4-wheel drive.
And it works.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is the next question. Obviously, there becomes a point of where it doesn't make sense to like
Keep
fix a
fixing
vehicle.
them. Yeah. Yeah.
So like my wife oftentimes like, oh, if we do that and then like restore it. Well, the
Yeah.
problem is if you restore a vehicle, it
Yeah.
gets prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
But if you can get it mechanically sound and reasonably good looking
Yeah.
and comfortable and safe, right? Safety is the main thing.
Yeah.
Safety and operation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you took this, like you have $1,500 into it
Yeah.
right now. If you put $5,000 into it,
Yeah.
would it be, do you think it'd be a pretty nice, like you'd have a lot of the stuff worked out on it
yeah.
maybe?
Yeah, I think it would be a good truck for a long time, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
That's crazy. I mean, with $5,000, you could probably even do,
Yeah, I don't care.
with $5,000, you could probably reupholster the seats,
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff, clean it up.
Yeah.
And go through any like maybe small leaks. You're not gonna like pull the engine and
Yeah.
do all that, but and then you're at $6,500,
Yep.
and $6,500 is less than the depreciation you would take on a new
vehicle,
truck
yeah.
within just months.
Yeah.
There was a time where these trucks were going up in value
Yeah.
because it was artificial. It was a supply and demand issue. Now I think these trucks are sitting there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And so, and everyone's still proud of them. And then worse yet, an engine on like a Tundra is like $18,000.
Yeah.
That's
It's
3 of
insanity.
these
Yeah.
if you were to spend
Yeah.
$5,000 on them.
Yeah.
So that's the dilemma that people are facing. Let's look at this, man. What can you tell me about this? I have always loved these machines. They're
Yeah.
so cool.
This is a Ford 2000. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 horsepower, maybe a little less. I'm not 100% sure. It's from the 60s.
Okay.
A 3-cylinder naturally aspirated diesel. There is literally not much to these tractors. Not much at all.
Simple machines.
Simple
huh?
machines. I paid $500 for it. It wasn't running. The fuel was nasty. I had some videos about it. Ended up getting it all taken care of, and for $500, I've got a working tractor.
Yeah.
Is it on the same? It's not even in the same galaxy as like Joe's Coyote.
Yeah.
But if you don't need to do a lot of stuff, there's money to be saved.
Well, and this is the thing. This machine, we don't have a loader on it.
No.
But at the same time, my property's not flat, and so
Yeah.
I want a little bit of stability, and a little bit different. But on this
Yeah.
property here, where you've got the flat fields, your 3-point
Yeah.
works,
Yeah.
right? And your
I
your
use a
rear-
lot of 3-point stuff.
Yeah, so this is what is needed. And you bought this for how much?
$500
$500. And how much do you think you've spent on it?
so far.
Uh-huh.
Less than $100.
Okay, and that has a lot to do with his knowledge,
Yeah.
and probably existing tools and
Yeah.
chemicals that he has. But he's into it less than $1,000. And wasn't, if I remember right, the story on this was that there was a guy that had it, and his wife got tired of it sitting
Yeah.
because he was going to get to it.
Yeah.
And she told him to buy a new tractor, right?
Yeah, it had messed up, and he parked it. Who knows how many years ago? And he
Okay.
went and bought a new either Coyote or Kubota. I don't remember what it was. It was orange.
Yeah.
And a lot like your tractor, a little 4-wheel drive, front end loader.
Mm-hmm.
And this just sat there, and she finally got tired of it sitting there.
Yeah.
And she posted it on Craigslist for $500, and I went and got it.
Okay, so this was not an auction. That's right. I remember.
This was a Craigslist deal.
It's really cool because he's got trailers and the ability to haul stuff. He's able to go get stuff like this and save himself quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And or because you could turn this. I mean, this probably, if you were to sell it, probably $1,500.
Yeah, $1,500, $2,000.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you could turn it and make a little money.
Yeah. Or you need a tractor.
Or you need a tractor
and you use it.
Yeah, and if it just sits here for 3 months without me using it, I don't care because I don't have a payment.
Yeah. And the tires were even good. I remember when you were looking at it, you're like, even these tires are good.
Yeah, it's pretty good shape.
All right, and earlier we talked about how he went to an auction with 800 plus chainsaws.
Yeah.
And so we're going to look at what he has left. He sold a lot of it. These are currently my stuff up here, but these are all sold, right?
Yep, this 1010 is sold. I sold that 200. This is a 510 that I haven't messed with yet.
Let's take a look. Look at these beauties. I think that's a pretty desirable saw right there.
2100 Husky, 266 XP.
And just if you don't mind sharing, what did you pay for those approximately?
The Huskies I paid $10 a piece for.
$10 a piece.
Yep.
Okay.
These are all Mac 1010s, Pro Mac 1010s. I paid $5 a piece for everything else.
Okay. So now
still 032 AV.
With what you've been doing, because you've been selling this stuff up on eBay.
Yeah.
You said that you bought about 30, and you wish you would have bought more.
Yeah.
So even these, you wish you would have bought more of?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I gotta.
They're not super valuable, but
you're still turning a profit, and it's worth your time.
Yes.
So, question. This is gonna be crazy sounding, but obviously you're probably not gonna say you wish you bought all 800. But what would have been the number that you wish you would have bought?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Would you have liked to bought 100 of them? Would that have been reasonable?
Probably. That would have probably been a reasonable amount. That was still way too many, but a reasonable amount.
Yeah, reasonable amount, because you could probably not feel like, if you bought 800, this whole place would be full.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then look at these bad boys. Oh my gosh. And this one's really cool here, guys. This is super neat. If someone is an old Asplund guy, this I think this would be super collectible. This was owned by Asplund Tree Service, and that's an old big home light. And then we got another one down in there.
Yeah,
you got to pull that out.
I got a bunch of big home lights.
What the heck? That thing has green bars on it.
Yep.
That's wild. So Dustin got these. He called me and he's like, I don't even know what I got, you know. And so he had bad cell phone service. So you're having trouble researching on the fly.
Oh yeah.
And so he just tried to make decisions based on what he knew, because, you know, he didn't know all that much about all these old saws, and now you know more.
I know more now. I still don't know a lot, but I know more than I did.
So and I thought personally, as soon as I saw those, I thought those were probably the most valuable.
Those were the two most valuable right there. I actually had 2 of each of those, and I've already sold 1 of each of those.
Yeah. And just to say, he also had another great auction find. You've actually had a lot of great chainsaw auction finds. How much was your 044?
$30.
$30. Yeah. Are you willing to share?
What I sold it for? Yeah. I sold it for $400.
On eBay recently, right? Yeah. And then your 036, was that auction too?
I bought it at an auction, yep. I sold it for $400. So.
And he has that 026, and he didn't think he was going to sell it.
I didn't think I would ever in a million years sell that 026, but.
But I brought over a modern saw today, and you know, he's kind of thinking about some stuff. So.
Yeah, he's put some stuff in my mind for sure.
So I just think this is super cool. It's been a really fun time over here at Dustin's place. He's a busy man. He's got a regular job. He's got a family. He's got a farm. And he does auction stuff. So he's got all these side hustles, plus a YouTube channel, which you should check out, Faithful Farm Adventures. And there will be a link down at the bottom. I will tag him in the video. He's just got a lot of information. And it's just really cool to be able to... It's really cool to be able to come together, because everybody has a little bit of different knowledge.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. So I just I really appreciate. I've been watching him. Honestly, it's kind of been inspiring to me watching these auction videos. Thinking, man, I need to be scouring because I always like finding good deals. I've done that a lot.
Yeah.
With certain niche things that
Yeah.
I knew what I was looking
Yeah.
for. And so it's kind of inspired me, and I don't know where it will take me on the channel because, like I said, I am wanting to do a shop, and I have a suspicion that I have 2 young boys, and I really value mechanical aptitude and mechanical knowledge, and so I want my boys exposed to it, not just at a chainsaw level or small farm equipment. Like the tractor's a big deal, but even automotive.
Yeah.
Because what are our kids?
Yeah.
If they don't know how to work on it, what are they going to do?
Yeah. Even just the most basic of things, if you can teach your kids the most basic of things on that stuff, they'll be miles ahead of their peers.
So, anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Make sure you say hi to Dustin. Go check him out on his channel. And guys, I really thank you for being here, and we will see you on the next one.